love this song. I wish I could do that. I wish I could. Oh my God, tonight is going to be crazy. It is going to be a crazy show. Watch nobody show up. I bet you a nickel nobody will show up. Oh my gosh. I tend to listen to that song when I'm feeling wild and crazy, and tonight I feel very wild and crazy. So I wonder if I'll get a copyright strike for that. Probably. I get copyright strikes and stuff for everything. So it looks like there is nobody here yet, not even me, and my other account is showing up in the chat room. Oh, we have a viewer. We have somebody out there. I feel like tonight, I don't know, I just feel these vibes like tonight is some kind of weird, like there's some kind of weird cosmic stuff going on somewhere in the cosmos. I just feel like everything's a little off today. I don't know if you guys feel like that or not, but does it feel weird to you? The atmosphere and just the feeling of everything right now. Meowtube, hello, how are you today? Meow. I am glad you made it tonight. Very happy. Oh, well, we have a new person. Welcome, Mofoco. How are you? How are you? How are you all doing? Did you have a great weekend, an awesome, crazy, wild weekend? I did not have a crazy weekend. I had a good weekend. What are you laughing at? I have a new, sorry guys, I call these, I'm probably not going to say what I call these. I have a new thing. So if Sharia Lawson shows up, I'm going to puff a few times extra for her or him or whoever. I don't know who it is, but Cinder, hey, how are you doing today? Glad you can make it. Oh, we're up to 5 viewers. Okay, that's good. I probably should be like doing something. I'm just waiting for everybody to show up. Just, that's the great thing about these live streams is that I can just hang out for a few minutes and vape, chain vape, and use you all as an excuse. So, how are y'all doing? Not enough, Meowtube. I did not have enough. Mostly just coffee and extremely high levels of nicotine. So I have a crazy show for you guys tonight. Actually, I looked all week and I was like, what am I going to do a show on? I want to do a crazy show that kind of fits in with some things that I've been talking about off and on recently, especially aliens, because I feel like for the first year and a half of my YouTube channel, I didn't get to talk about aliens as much as I wanted to. So this is an alien story, alien-related, UFO-related, extraterrestrial. It could very well be an ultra-terrestrial-related show. I don't know if you guys know what an ultra-terrestrial is. I think that word is like so super cool. It feels so sci-fi. I feel like a mad scientist when I say that word. So just saying that word is really fun. Can you imagine what it must feel like to be an ultra-terrestrial if just saying the word is fun? So I guess everybody's probably here. I feel like we lost some of our boo crew that shows up for the Monday night streams. I do have Robert Smith here tonight. I don't know if you guys noticed. This is my ode to Robert Smith. Is that even his name? I feel crazy right now. I don't even know what I'm talking about. All right. So welcome back to another crazy episode of Paranormally Correct. I'm your wild and crazy host, Sarah. As always, I'm always here. It's always me. You don't get anybody else, just me. Coming to you live tonight from inside a cave full of alien demons. It is so damp and smelly in here. You would not believe. So I hope you guys had a great weekend. I know that I did. I had lots of public screen meetings, and something really awesome happened. Something really, really cool. I don't know if you guys know about it, but I launched my very first Paranormally Correct t-shirt. And I was going to do a screen share of this, and I forgot to load a picture. So let me just grab a picture real quick. Let me just type that in. Hopefully it comes up pretty easily. That might be it. But I have that song stuck in my head now. I go around the house trying to sing that sometimes, but my voice is not high-pitched enough. All right, so we're going to try to do some screen shares tonight. Oddly enough, I was going to do a whole bunch of screen shares tonight. What's going on, camera? I got to stop filming with my webcam. I had all kinds of really crazy news stories, and this video is going to be so long, I'm afraid, that I'm going to have to 86 the news stories for tonight, and we're going to put them in the next show next week. You took your pre-show meds. I'm glad you're prepared. All right, so let's try a screen share here because I really want to show you guys my t-shirt. I think it is so super cool. Watch something go terribly wrong though. Probably. Let's see. Okay, 1 second. 1 second. I'll make some squirrel noises to entertain you in the meantime. Okay, I think it's gonna work. Hope there's no weird personal information. I'm always paranoid about personal information showing. Okay, so here is the t-shirt. I believe it. Can you guys see that by any chance? Let me know in the little chat room thing if you guys can see that. Big bait. Ooh. Well, it's okay. Just have a seat. I'm just showing them my t-shirt. Can you guys hear and see and like all that? All the things are working properly right now. Hopefully it is. This is also like very nerve-wracking because I'm afraid it's gonna like blow up my computer or something will go wrong. So this is the t-shirt. This is the first ever Paranormally Correct t-shirt. Let me just switch it to the back view. Does this work? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right, you want to take over the show, Matt? Is that what you want to do? You want to take over? Just take over, Matt. So this is the back of the shirt. As you can see here, I made a nice little Paranormally Correct logo. I think it's really pretty. Yes, this is a 110 million Randy Jackson % original design. I made the entire thing with simple brushes and shape tools in Photoshop. The girl, that's the only thing that's not original, is like I didn't really draw her. I kind of used a model to model it after. But yes, it's 100% original. You will never find this t-shirt anywhere else unless I find a better hosting page, which if you guys know of any, let me know. So this is my shirt. This is the very first Paranormally Correct t-shirt. Now I'm using Teespring, and I don't know if I really like Teespring that well because it didn't really do what I wanted it to do. I wanted to keep the price a lot lower. They charge you per color, I suppose. So it was a lot higher than I wanted it to be, about $15, and they blew it up to $21. I think that when you make t-shirts through this website, the more you sell or the more you think you can sell, the lower the price goes. So if you guys are interested at any point in these t-shirts, let me know because I can potentially make them significantly cheaper in the future, which is what I want to do because I want them to be affordable and awesome for everybody so you guys can all have one. So, Matt Thongs, alien hoodies. Oh, there's going to be some alien hoodies. Oh God, did I present that to everyone? It worked, didn't it? Okay, I think that worked. I hope that worked. Otherwise, it's going to be really weird me just sitting here like laughing at myself for 5 solid minutes. So that's the t-shirt. I have some more coming up. Another thing I want to point out is you probably noticed that said that there's like 1 day left to buy. So the way that crazy website works is like you launch campaigns, they last for a certain amount of days. It's really weird. It's a strange website, but it's a lot cheaper and better quality than Cafe Press, which is why I used it instead because nobody should pay $40 for a t-shirt. Cafe Press. Don't you agree?
I agree.
My invisible, somewhat invisible co-host is here too, by the way. So yes, this campaign ends on Wednesday, I think. So you have until Wednesday to buy this shirt, and then I probably won't bring it back for maybe a month or so. I'm not sure yet. Just grab one now. Just get you one now because they're going to be really cool, I think. So moving right along, I had to plug my t-shirt because I'm so proud of it. I actually created that design in 2013, and I created it for an astrologer's website and like just promotional stuff. And she was like, I don't like it. It objectifies women. And I'm like, I like it. I'll keep it. Go elsewhere for graphic design. So I think she did. I don't even remember how that turned out. But luckily, I got to keep the design. And now I get to use it because I've always really wanted to. Very Paranormally Correct. It's very PC. So, blog update. Did everybody leave? Are you guys still here? Hopefully. They left. Everybody left. We're alone, Matthew.
Forever.
So, Forever Alone. That's me on YouTube, Forever Alone. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just being goofy. Okay, so blog update. The CSX UFO blog series that I have been doing. It is almost complete. I have been working on part 3, the final, I think will be the final part. It's probably going to be extremely long by the time I'm done. I mean, it's kind of long as it is right now. So it is coming very soon. I spent a couple of weeks trying to go back through messages. Unfortunately, I'm not necessarily in contact with a lot of these people anymore. So I've been trying to dig up some research before I actually have to contact any of my old UFO group because we aren't all on great speaking terms for a lot of dumb reasons, not anything significant. Just people are immature. I'm not immature. I like to talk to everybody. I don't ever like, do that, but some people do. So it's taking me a little longer than I planned, but I definitely want to try to put as much into it as I possibly can and make it really good. And God have mercy, I've been talking for almost 15 minutes about nothing. So let's get started with this crazy, crazy episode. Now, where should I begin, really? So over the past couple of weeks, this is kind of my inspiration for this episode because, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm always like so scared of brain, trying to think like, where's the best place to start? So a few weeks ago, I was talking to my mom on the phone, and she was telling me like some weird things had been going on. In retrospect, after I like wrote out my script and stuff, I was like, these were not like the most significant weird things in the world, just strange activity, things that felt out of the norm. A lot of it, I think, sounded like alien abduction to me, honestly. It sounded like there was, now this area where she lives, there is an extreme, excessive, enormous amount of UFO activity. I cannot tell you how many times I have had close and personal experiences with UFOs in this area where she lives, and it's always been like this. According to her and some other members of my family, this whole area has been massively haunted by UFOs for a very long time, since, at least the 40s that we know of, probably even longer because it's such a rural place. There's a lot of resources and things in the hills, and a lot of people believe that aliens come down here to take resources. I personally don't completely believe that, but basically she had a lot of weird things going on. I'm getting rambly. I'm rambly tonight. Let me vape. Let me calm down. This is just going to jack me up more, probably. So I'm going to get wild and crazy. Where's my coffee? I told you guys, it's like there's some sort of weird atmospheric things going on right now, and I just feel like the whole world's crazy. Do you feel like that? Do you kind of feel like there's some kind of weird pressure? Maybe it's the moon.
Maybe. We had that big full moon and lunar eclipse thing a couple days ago.
Yeah, we did. Did anybody get to see that moon stuff that was going on? The eclipse?
It's like a blue moon and a blood moon.
Was it a blue moon?
Some kind of eclipse. I don't know. I don't remember, but it was like the first time in 100 years.
Yeah. I didn't get to see it, unfortunately. I think it was like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning that you were supposed to be able to see it. Or like some crazy time that I wasn't up.
It was like 6 or something.
6? I don't know. I didn't see it. So, okay, back on track here. Everything kind of culminated into one very, very significant experience that happened at my mom's house over the weekend. It was Saturday night. Her and her boyfriend were just in the house, like just hanging out, watching TV with the dogs, all of her daughters. I always call my mom's dogs her daughters because she loves them more than she loves me. But so they were just in the house hanging out, whatever. And one of the neighbors called, and it was fairly late. I'm not entirely sure what time because I don't think she actually told me specifically. We're going to say somewhere between probably 9:30 and midnight, or maybe 11. She said one of the neighbors called and said, "Don't go out of the house. There's something in the yard. There's a creature out there. Don't go out of the house tonight." And of course, my mom and her boyfriend did not believe the neighbor because he sometimes tells tall tales, but something like this, he was very, very serious about this. He said that when he was walking back from another neighbor's house, he walked up, there's kind of like, it's weird, I'm not going to explain the whole landscape out there, but he was kind of walking up the hill from another street that's like way back behind the area she lives in. And he was coming up past her house. And as he went across the street to go over to the driveway that goes up the hill and stuff across from her house, he said that he saw a creature that was about 4 foot tall. And he thought that it had red eyes. So my first thought as far as the red eye thing goes, because I know what you're thinking, like, baloney. You know, no creature's eyes really glow red. But I think, you know, some sorts of animals that have different rod and cone setups in their eyes at night, often their eyes will glow red under certain light circumstances, basically. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I think that probably makes sense as far as the eye thing goes. The height, however, I know this is a very rural area. There aren't kids that just play in the street like there are in most other places. You know, there's not even hardly traffic on this road. It's very much in the wilderness, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, Matt can vouch for it. You just don't see people walking around out there at night because there's no place to walk to. All the people in the neighborhood are senior citizens, so they don't get out and walk. So there was a small creature. And he said that he had to pass it, of course, to get to the driveway to go to his house. So he ran really quick around it. And he was scared to death. And that's why he called my mom, and her boyfriend was like, do not go out of the house. There's something in your yard. I don't know. Take it for whatever, you know. What do you think about it? Sounds like an alien.
It does.
Yeah. Sounds, yeah, definitely. So my inspiration, of course, like I said, for this video is that this immediately made me think of the 1955 Kelly, Kentucky UFO attack, alien attack, whatever you want to call it, the Little Green Men case, if you're familiar with that. And there have been a lot of other instances where people in Kentucky, different parts of Kentucky, I know personally a lot of people in Eastern Kentucky who have had similar experiences with creatures like this. So I started doing some research on it, and come to find out, you know, this is probably a really significant thing. There's a lot of reports, and I actually found one report that was mind-boggling, and that's what this video is about. But first, if you're not familiar with Kelly, Kentucky, what's Hopkinsville? For the longest time, I was like, Kelly, Kentucky. Where's Kelly, Kentucky? I've never heard of Kelly.
I don't know where that is.
Yeah, I've been to Hopkinsville. My sister lived in Hopkinsville for years. We did a ghost hunt down there, me and my paranormal team. I've never heard of a place called Kelly. So for the longest time, people be like, you know about the Kelly, Kentucky? No, what are you talking about? I know about the Hopkinsville. But basically in Hopkinsville. So is there anybody out there right now who does not know anything about the Hopkinsville Little Green Men in 1955, I think it was? I think the delay is extremely bad tonight.
Yeah, there's a lot of delay.
Oh, yeah. There's usually like 10 to 13 seconds, but I think tonight it's probably closer to 20. Yeah. I really do, yeah. It's bad. Oh, I hate the delay. I hate it. It just pees on my parade. So, okay. So I'm going to just wait for a second. You guys could chime in if you're familiar or not with the Kelly, Kentucky or Hopkinsville, Kentucky Little Green Men case. And I'm going to vape in the meantime. You want it? Okay, there you go. Give it back, though. So, now just as kind of a side note.
Sorry.
See, this is why you can't have my vape right now. It's gonna choke to death. Just as a side note, there have been so many different people in different times and places experience weird, I don't know if you call them cryptid creatures. I know a couple people who swear that they have seen the Kentucky goat man. Normally I would not believe in anything like that because a goat man, like, you know, such a small isolated case, just a few witnesses, probably not true, probably like a mistake. But the Kentucky goat man, I think, is a pretty big thing. A lot of people have seen it. Have you ever heard about it? I have two friends who I would definitely 100% believe they are not the type of people to not believe. They're very trustworthy people, and they both swear that they had a very personal, up-close type experience with the Kentucky Goat Man. And the fable or the legend or whatever that goes along with the Goat Man is that he lives in the woods in Kentucky and he lures people off cliffs. It's more than Bigfoot does, I guess. Yeah. Bigfoot just runs away while you take a picture with a potato.
Yells from a distance.
Yeah, yells from a distance. I think actually Bigfoot, is it Bigfoot or big feet in past tense? Big feet. Bigfoot,
Bigfoot.
Glue, who knows? Mysteries of the universe. Bigfoot throws rocks at you, so Goat Man leads you off a cliff to your death. Anyway, so the Hopkinsville Little Green Men case, as I said, took place in 1955 in Western Kentucky. I believe it. I don't believe every single bit of the way that it's told. I think maybe there are some discrepancies. You know, just things get sometimes a little bit distorted when they're told over and over for a long time. And I think when people are really excited and emotional, when your emotions are running really high and you experience something like this, your imagination is going to fill in the blanks. It's inevitable. It's hard to keep it from happening. Yes, the Hopkinsville alien story is a very well known. I think it's pretty much considered one of the most significant UFO cases or alien experience cases in the world. And it's drawn attention from different parts of the world. So, yeah, made history, big story. To this day is considered, like I said, one of the most significant UFO alien witness reports in the world. But skeptics believe it to be very inconceivable and ridiculous and just silly, of course, as they would. It seems like with the best UFO cases, the most naysayers come out with the craziest, dumbest explanations and excuses. I think they said that it was owls. They blamed it on owls. That's what the professionals, the authorities said. Oh, it's just barn owls because barn owls are big and loud and scary in the dark. Oh, really? So you've heard about the Goat Man too. So see, it's kind of a big thing. I've never seen the Goat Man, but I don't go in the woods because I don't like dirt and nature. And that's why I've never seen Bigfoot. I want to believe in Bigfoot, and I believe in Bigfoot, but I've never seen anything like that in woods because I stay away. So just to play devil's advocate, I linked in the description box, there's an article written by someone who's very much skeptical of the Kelly experience or story or whatever. So if you're not familiar with it, I'll give you like a brief synopsis. Kind of covers all the bases. So on Sunday evening, August 21st, 1955, in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, 11 people, okay, 11 witnesses, not all of them saw it with their own eyes, but 11 people in the house when this happened. That's a lot of witnesses. This is definitely, there's not a whole bunch of people hiding under beds. Oh God, there's barn owls in the yard. It's like, no. I have an owl that comes outside my window. I definitely don't hide under the bed. Anyway, the Sutton family and the Sutton family farmhouse experienced a 3-hour ambush by what they described as little green men. So it began early in the evening when one of the witnesses, Billy Ray Taylor, for some reason I want to call him Billy Tackett. I think that guy's an artist that used to go to conventions. So if I accidentally say Billy Ray Tackett, I mean Taylor. But he was outside at the well drawing up a bucket of water. And it was about dark, and he saw a weird, bright object, basically a UFO, go across the sky. And it kind of shot toward, like, the woods. It was pretty low. Basically, what it was doing was landing. We'll just skip ahead. Spoiler, it was landing. Put that on a shirt. Yes, I will. Write that down, Matthew.
What?
That's another paranormally correct shirt right there. Right there. So Billy Ray was getting the water. He saw the UFO coming to a stop, sort of. So about an hour afterwards, he'd gone on about his business. He was like, oh, that's weird. And he went back in the house. An hour later, him and Lucky Sutton, who was also in the house, came back outside because their dog, who was tied up out in front of the house, was just going crazy. Just, bad shit crazy. Pardon my French. So they came out to see why the dog was acting the way that it was and barking so much. But while they were outside, they spotted a creature. They immediately ran back into the house to grab their guns because that's what Kentuckians do. They shoot things. Shoot first, ask never. What is it? What is it that Ash said?
Think never.
Think never. Shoot first, ask, think never. Yeah. So that's how you do it. You see an alien, you shoot it. So they went back in to grab their rifles. The reports and the investigations revealed that the family, there was no evidence of shooting or anything like that, but that's neither here nor there because I believe them. I believe the Suttons. But this is at that point it launched into a 3-hour battle with these entities, and there were oodles of them, tons of them. I'm not entirely sure how many they believe that was, attacking the house, but they were in trees, they were on the roof, they were all over the yard, they were peeking in windows. I mean, it was like, crazy. It was crazy. It was like a zombie attack, only with aliens. So allegedly the family was shooting wildly, taking pot shots everywhere to try to kill one of these things. Now it's kind of weird that allegedly there was no evidence of gunfire and no windows shot out, no bullets, no anything, no casings, anything to imply that this had happened. But that's just what they told us. I would say what happened is the government went in there, just like with the CSX train, they scooped up the frickin' dirt and took it. Don't even leave the dirt behind. I'm sure they took everything. They probably took out all the screens and glass that had been, shot and exploded. So anyway, so these creatures were like everywhere. They were on the roof, in the trees, and the family felt like it was intentional. They were intentionally harassing them. I don't know if they were going to eat them or what. What do you think they're going to do with? Why would aliens do this to you? Cannibals? Well, they're not cannibals because they're not our species, but
no. I guess a mass probing. I don't know.
Mass probing. Yeah, mass probing. So the group at one point, they're like, we are not going to live. This is not going to end well for us. So they managed to just like file out of the house, get into cars, take off. They drove like 8 or 10 miles to the Hopkinsville Police Department, and they reported it. Now, within just a few minutes of them telling the police department what had happened, there were all sorts of military and emergency authority, all sorts of, like the whole brigade, the whole brigade showed up. And I think technically it was the next day, but that the military got involved, it was the Air Force. So I believe, personally, I think that when the Air Force gets involved, that is a clear yes. That to me is a yes.
Really serious.
They don't just come out for anything.
No.
We could test that theory. We could call them and be like, oh my God, there's aliens on our roof. And we'll see if they show up. And if they don't show up, then we know that when they do, it's because it's true. If the glove fits, you must acquit. I almost made a little rhyme about like the Air Force, and we'll work on that later. So, yeah, so it was a shit show. Lots of people showed up. That, like I said, they probably took the dirt, they took the casings, they took everything, all the proof, all the evidence, gone. It's somewhere in a bunker on an Air Force base, probably. It's amazing how they cover that stuff up. But I know for a fact that they do cover that stuff up by any means necessary. So that's the Little Green Men story in a nutshell. It's not all the details. You can read more about it if you want. Like I said, I put a link in the description. I would suggest reading other links as well, just because that one's kind of a, from a skeptical perspective. Read all the perspectives. That's what I do. So now we get to the crazy part. This story's scary. This is a really frightening, freaky story. It sure is. Don't strangle. All right. Any questions so far while I take a drink of coffee? Like I need coffee at 10 o'clock at night. Okay. So about 6 years ago, another Kentucky man reached out to online sources. And I'm not going to mention who, just because it doesn't really matter. There's so many like paracelebs and paranormal groups and things like that out there. They're interchangeable. So he just reached out to a group of paranormal investigators, ghost hunters, basically, not ufologists, Not alien chasers or anything, just ghost hunters. He claimed to have nothing short of an infestation, basically, of what could possibly be extraterrestrials, cryptids, or ultra-terrestrials. Ultra-terrestrials. Doesn't that, like, say that word?
Is that bigger than mega?
Say that word, because you feel so cool when you say it. Ultra-terrestrials. It's crazy. Don't you feel like a mad scientist right now?
Yes, I do.
So, what a sophisticated word. I love that word. I'm going to say it a lot. But no, seriously, the thing about this, and like, once you kind of factor in ultra-terrestrials into a lot of stories, then you kind of start, your imagination takes you off on this ride where you're like, oh my God, are there creatures living, subterranean creatures in the ground underneath me right now, building cities, besides our own government? They're going to come get me. Extraterrestrials, of course, are things that are from outside of our planet or atmosphere, you know, things that are not of our world. Ultra-terrestrials are things that are from our world. So in case you're wondering, in case you don't know what an ultra-terrestrial is. So now personally, I will say up front, I think that these creatures were aliens. Just good old-fashioned aliens. You know, I think there's so many cases where, like, well, basically, it kind of almost debunks ultra-terrestrials in a way if you think, like, well, extraterrestrials could just come here, park their ship, put a cloaking device on it, and then, like, go move into a cave. So then technically, would there ever be anything like an ultra-terrestrial? Bigfoot could be an ultra-terrestrial. Giants could be ultra-terrestrials. Do what?
Ultra-terrestrial.
It's a creature. Okay, I'll just read it to you from knowledgenuts.com. Beings who come from beyond the realm of human experience altogether, whether from a parallel universe, alternate dimension, or another plane of reality intersecting with ours. So it would be something from, as opposed to like extraterrestrials being from away from our Earth or our planet, you know, they would be from here sort of in a way. So does that answer your question? Does that make sense? Yeah, so I think these creatures were aliens, just my personal opinion. Just like I think that the thing that my mom's neighbor saw last weekend was an alien. Just like the little green men in Hopkinsville were aliens. But some people believe that these things may not just be normal aliens. So I guess the next thing we need to do is take a look at the claims made by the witnesses. So this all began in 2011, but by April 22nd, 2012, a man named David contacted a pair of celeb ghost hunters team through their social media, claiming he was in desperate need of help. David and his family had been living in Pike County, Kentucky for about 6 months when he first contacted the group, and as a side note, he had been experiencing the activity for the last 2 of those 6 months. So I think, hang on just a second. There's cords flying at me everywhere. So, okay, here's a quote, direct quote from David. My family is nightly assaulted by creatures that I have come to believe are of an extraterrestrial origin, David stated in the first email he sent to this group. The beings appeared to be the size and stature of a small child, devoid of any facial features save for large, oily eyes and lipless mouths. Scary. David stated that the creatures were terrorizing his children. This is creepy, by peeking in their bedroom windows at night. He also claimed that the creatures, he knew for a fact, were attempting to break into his house while he and his family slept. At one point, sometime later down, into this correspondence with this group, his family dog was taken. These creatures took his doggo.
Oh.
I know, that made me so mad. I just wanted to go murder those little critters, those freaking little aliens. Give back the dog, take the kids instead. Yeah. No, we don't want to give those little freaks any kids, but seriously. So the local authorities either, apparently they didn't take him serious, or they knew that this was out of their jurisdiction, basically, because they refused him any sort of assistance. Now, I think that everybody, any native of Kentucky, knows that Kentucky is like the wild kingdom of the paranormal. I don't really know that many people from Kentucky who don't believe in this stuff. I mean, come on, most people know. Hey, Christy, glad you're here. So the cops wouldn't help him. There's nothing, you know, what do? You have these crazy, creepy things coming out into your yard around your house at night, bothering your kids, bothering your pets. Nobody wants to help you. What do you do? So, local authorities, yes, they did not take him seriously. They kept telling him that the culprit was probably a wild animal. It's always a wild animal. Yeah. It's barn owls again. So they told him that he needed to just contact the state game commission instead of bothering the police, because barn owls. So David described in one of his emails an abandoned mine that was on the edge of his property. And he expressed this theory he had that the creatures might have been residing in this mine cave type thing. This is where the debate about ETs or UTs comes in, pretty much, because basically if they came from space and just moved into the cave, they're ETs. But if they spawned from somewhere in the cave or deeper, then they're UTs, right? So who knows? I say aliens. It's always aliens. So he explained that he was terrified, absolutely terrified to go in this mine. I guess it's one of those places where it's like you have this sixth sense where you get the heebie-jeebies and you know better. Gotta listen to that gut feeling, especially with paranormal. So even though he had weapons, he, you know, could go in armed. He was still afraid to go. He had no one that would agree to go in with him. He wasn't actually telling a lot of people about this, but we'll get to that in a second. So he believed that the only way to stop this activity was to collapse the mine or seal it off. So in exchange for the paranormal team's help, David offered to allow them to perform any sorts of tests, filming, recording, photography, anything like that on his property. He even offered to reimburse travel expenses and pay for the entire trip if the investigators would take him up on the offer. The only thing was that he wanted to keep his anonymity. He didn't want anybody to know, you know, that it's him. And David is not his real name. Also, I probably should have mentioned that. But that was all he wanted. It was just do it discreetly. He wanted to keep things discreetly because he was very concerned about his career, his kids, you know. I mean, their whole family reputation, because there's always going to be people out there who just think you're a raving lunatic. It's like, oh, you got little green men living in your yard? Whoa. So I can understand why he would want to keep this on the DL. So now the backstory, we kind of go back chronologically. So David began keeping a record of all these events several months prior in December. He first only noticed tracks in the snow. So that was like the first thing. And also I have some pictures. I forgot about those. I almost forgot. I was going to do a screen share. Almost forgot. Let's see. Before we get much further. Okay, so let me just do a quick screen share just in case you're not familiar with Pike County. I don't know if I mentioned it. Did I say Pike County already? I did, didn't I? So screen share. Hope this works this time too as well. Okay, so this is Pike County, Kentucky. Is that right? That don't look right. I was like, wait a second, is Pikeville all the way down there?
I think so.
So yeah, if you're not familiar, that's it. Now let me close this. Screen shares are cool, but I'm afraid it's going to take up too much time and make things kind of slow. Not that I'm not going to do that myself anyway. So, yeah, so back in December, he started keeping notes because, you know, anytime there's weird paranormal activity happening, you have some sort of innate ability. Every human, every creature, I believe, has like an instinct, basically. You can feel it. You know when something's happening. You could choose to attend to that feeling or you can ignore it. But if you believe in that kind of stuff, of course, you're going to pay more attention to those feelings. Mm-hmm. So I guess he probably had a gut feeling that something was going on. So he saw tracks in the snow. He described them as human-like without a heel, sands a hill basically. So kind of like just your toes and like that little part right before your toes where your toes connect to your, that's not the arch. The arch is like the arch. What is that little part of your foot? What is that called? It's like your toe, your foot palm. I don't know. Anyway, so basically a foot without a heel. So then some weird stuff, some other weird stuff started happening. His dog started acting out. You notice that something was bothering his dog very much when he would put his dog outside, especially at night. So it got so bad that his dog was barking until she was hoarse. She was basically barking herself sick at night. So he started having to bring her in. Now, personally, I don't know why you wouldn't just keep the dog in the house, because the doggos should be in the house.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you have like 20 million of them, like my mom. You know, that's something I forgot to mention, is that with all that alien stuff going on in my mom's yard, all of her giant dog collection never barked. They made no noises that night, which I think is kind of weird.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, because they bark at air. Her daughters bark at everything. So, yes, that is Pike County. It seems so weird looking at a county map like that, though. Sometimes I'm like, where's Elliott County? And I know, but so anyway.
There once upon a time.
We're in Elliott County? Pike County?
Mm-hmm.
Pike County is, it's a wild place. It's like, I don't know, it's one of them uber creepy Eastern Kentucky places where you can feel the ghosts just like floating through the air as thick as mayonnaise. Kentucky is so paranormal. The more stuff that comes up about, you know, paranormal extraterrestrial things happening in Kentucky, the more I miss Kentucky. It's like, I want to go hunt for demons again. I feel like everything's so civilized in Florida that there's not really any creepiness going on here, except like from the Cthulhus and Krakens in the ocean. That's about the extent of the creepiness. Supposedly there's a Squatch down here somewhere, but I don't know about that. It's just not creepy here.
Even when I went there when I was like 18 or 19, and that was before I really paid attention or thought about paranormal type stuff very much.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, Eastern Kentucky creeped me out so bad. It's such an uneasy,
yes,
weird feeling there.
Mm-hmm. It's true. There is, you can feel that there's like some kind of paranormal. And Kentucky is just paranormal from one side to the other. And I love that about it. It's a very eerie place. And if you're into hunting for paranormal things, you're going to find it in Kentucky. It's definitely there. So back to my story. If I can find my place. I hate when I do this. So he couldn't leave his dog out. Pretty soon, he started noticing things that were a little more significant, like his shed doors would be open in the morning when he'd get up, even though he knew he closed all of that up at night. His kids, their toys would disappear, or they would be moved to someplace completely.
That's what you said. We're going to say his kids would disappear.
His kids disappeared a lot.
Didn't I have 5 yesterday?
No, they didn't get any of his kids. They just got the family doggo. They didn't take the kids.
I only got 4 today.
Each day he has one child less than the day before. So no. He didn't lose any kids. Not that I know of. Maybe by now he has if he didn't get the hell out of there. Probably carry the whole family off. So where was I at? So he was filing police reports all along the way. When these weird things would happen, he'd go file a police report and they would just be like, listen, unless you're physically assaulted, some sort of physical violence occurs, or somebody steals your car, we don't care. We don't care. And I think it's because they knew. I mean, I really honestly, small town politics, they're dirty. Small town cops, small town authorities, they know more than they let on like they know. And I know that's definitely true in my home area, not just my county that I'm from, but like the whole area. They would never, they'd just be like, I don't know what you're talking about. And the whole time they're like, them damn aliens are at it again. Like, what are we going to do this time? So then it like turns into Stranger Things all of a sudden. Let's see. Oh, so one of my really good close friends just sent me a Facebook message and was like, I'm watching the live show, but I don't know how to reply. I think
It's
if you're watching from a mobile device, you'd have to scroll all the way down. There's like a little tiny little live chat bar at the very, very bottom of the screen with a little arrow. And if you're on a computer, it should be right to the side of the video box. Hopefully, maybe, I don't know what you're watching it on.
You gotta, on the title, click, oh wait, no, it's down.
It's down at the bottom, yeah. Yeah, so hopefully you can jump in there and talk with us. I'm glad you're getting to watch tonight at least, because I think this is probably like the first time you got to tune in since the original Paranormally Correct. Okay, so yes, filed police reports. The cops didn't want to hear it because they probably knew what was going on. Then one day, David's 5-year-old daughter told him, this is so creepy, so creepy. She told him in a conversation, just casual talking at the breakfast table, that she saw the kids without hair playing in the yard the night before. So hairless children in the yard.
Wow.
Playing. Of course, she's 5, so she, that's how she kind of related it to what she understood. So he began to question her to try to figure out what she was talking about. And she described them as bald, completely hairless, and not wearing clothes. So what do you make of that when your 5-year-old tells you something like that?
Shrieking children.
Naked kids in the yard. They're aliens, Matthew. Come on. Everybody has those kinds of crazy neighbor kids that come into your yard naked at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Riding dirt bikes naked. Neighbors are on meth again.
We're not talking about that side of Pike County. Okay, back on track, Matthew. We're running out of time. Okay. So you made me lose my place again. Okay, so oddly enough, the same day that his daughter told him about seeing the little creepy alien people in the yard the night before, he noticed that the wreath that they had on their front door, just like a decorative wreath, was gone. So I don't know if he kind of looked around for it, didn't find it or what, but then later on he ended up finding it stuffed into his mailbox. So I assume by stuffed, that means probably broke, probably like crammed in there, which obviously is not something that a barn owl could do, right? Barn owls can't steal your decorations and stuff them in your mailbox. Barn owls cannot. Don't you even go there.
It has to be really determined. But I guess it could.
No, they can't. No, they cannot. So after this turn of events, David was like, okay, this is ridiculous. I'm going to go buy motion activated floodlights. I don't know why I didn't buy cameras. Maybe he couldn't afford them. Maybe he didn't really know much about tech stuff like that. But he bought lights. We have those on our house. They go off all the time at night, and it scares the crap out of me. Sometimes it's a possum. Sometimes it's a demon. So he said that for a while after he installed those floodlights, that the activity kind of let up a little bit for a little while, not forever. So then one night in late February, David awoke to the sound of his daughter screaming. He and his wife rushed into the hall, where she had ran out of her bedroom into the hallway. She was flipping out, scared to death. And they got her calmed down and asked her what was going on, why she was screaming and freaking out. And she said that the Ball kids were trying to look in her bedroom window, but they weren't tall enough. They couldn't reach it. So instead, they started tapping on her window.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Now, I tell you something. When I read this part, and of course, I had the whole experience at my mom's house that she told me about Saturday, kind of floating in my head too. I thought, this reminds me of something that happened when I was a kid, and we kind of thought maybe it was just like a weird neighbor or something. This was back in the really early 90s. I don't know if she ever figured out who it was or why it happened. But I was really young, really, really young, and it was summer and we had the windows open. And something in the middle of the night comes out to like this weird far side of our house. It's not like, you don't just happen by this particular window if you're walking by the house or something. Like, you'd have to go out of your way to get to this window, and it's kind of high off the ground because my mom's house is built into a hill. Someone comes around and like starts slapping the screen, and I remember it woke me up and I saw the hand. And I don't know if it was like an alien hand. I just remember like a white hand slapping the window. And I was like, oh my God, I wonder if this thing that happened when I was a kid is similar to this. Like, maybe these little creepy things go around knocking on everybody's windows.
Yeah.
Because Lord knows it's happened to me several times, and we didn't really have any neighbors that would have done that back then. I mean, I grew up in a neighborhood full of elderly people. I mean, they're more elderly now than they were then. But they were, they didn't get out and roam at night. They still don't, obviously. So, what do you think, Matt? You think I was getting tortured by one of these little critters, too?
It's possible. It seemed to like to torture kids.
Yeah. Especially creatures like to bother me a lot, especially. So, anyway, so the little girl never would sleep in her bedroom again after that, by the way, just as a side note. So the most amazing thing about this particular incident was, at this point, David's curiosity is piqued, and he's on edge. He's watching for everything. So the next day, as he was doing his rounds, what was that?
Oh, weird.
Oh my God, did you guys hear
that? Weird. Maybe the neighbors are fighting again.
No, that wasn't.
Oh, it's Fiona growling.
Oh God! I was like, shit, we got an alien right here on live stream. No, it's my cat. I don't know. She snores or something. That freaked me out. I heard something. It's like, it's on film. We got it. Okay, so the most amazing thing about this particular incident is that the next day, David, get this, he checked outside of her window and he found a disturbance in the ground underneath her bedroom window. Now, he didn't go into detail to say what kind of disturbance, but I would assume probably like the dirt. There's probably like some tracks or something. You can tell, you know what things are supposed to look like around your house, and usually you can tell if something's been tampered with or disturbed in some way. So apparently something really was out there. She didn't just imagine it. Let's see. Okay, so again, David reached out to the police. An officer responded. He came out, he looked around, he listened to David's story, and then he told him, again, it's some kind of animal. You need to contact the commission, the game commission, instead of the police. So it's like, what? Come on, come on. If I was a cop, I'd be like, we're going to Stranger Things the shit out of this case, like we're going to go find the gate to hell and close it. I don't know. I would believe them if it was me. And I'll say it again. I think that the police probably did know what was going on. They probably heard of it before, because this seems to happen in Kentucky all over the place. So surely to God, somebody knows about it. So thereafter, David began seeking out more and more evidence every single day. And every day he found more evidence. So smudges on the windows, stones from the sidewalk, sometimes would be dragged out into the lawn, pretty far away from where they're supposed to be, which obviously barn owls can't do that either. Those damn barn owls. So alongside of that, there were things like tears in the screens on the doors, just a lot of random weird alien playing doorbell dish. That's exactly, yeah. Next, they'll be like pooping in a bag and setting it on fire. So then the big thing happened. It happened. David saw one of these creatures or more with his very own eyes. On Wednesday, March the 7th, the dog woke him up at around 1:30 a.m. This is before the dog went missing, obviously, because the dog. But the dog was scratching at the door and whimpering and barking and just freaking out. So he got up to let the dog out. But before he let the dog out, he noticed that the security lights outside were on. So something had activated them. So instead of opening the door and letting the dog out, he actually goes over to the kitchen window and is trying to look out of the yard to see if he can see anything. So I'm going to read a quote to you from David. These are his own words. I could see the shadow of an individual cast across my lawn. From the angle I was positioned at the window, I could not actually see the source of the shadow or the floodlights. The dog was pacing circles around the back door, and I could hear someone rifling through a box on my porch. Creepy. Filled with more anger than common sense, the only reaction I could muster was to bang loudly on the window and yell, at which point I heard the screen door on the back porch swing open and slam against the house. I heard what I can only describe as chirping at this point. So creepy. Isn't this creepy, man? Ugh. It sounded much like a skunk, if more guttural. So he goes on to say, I then realized that there was more than 2 people on my property. Not people, they're aliens. And the shadow, which I had been reacting, the shadow, which had been reacting as if it didn't know which way to run. So I guess he could see it kind of like, like, where do I go? Was quickly joined by another. So a second appears. For a moment, I watched as the shadows chirped at one another when I noticed another figure out of the corner of my eye. That's 3 demon aliens in his yard at once. But it gets better. If you call now, we'll throw in 1 more demon alien for the price. Sorry, infomercial. We need to make an infomercial for like demons and stuff. So for a moment I watched, okay, yes. Then David saw what he described as a small humanoid figure with sickly pale skin and completely hairless. They have a real problem with these things not having hair. Yeah. I mean, aliens just don't have hair, you know, they just don't. And if they do, it's underneath their little spacesuits that we see them in. So it was about 4 foot tall, which is oddly similar to the creature that my mom's neighbor saw. I think there must just be like a breed of creatures living in Kentucky, or like coming to Kentucky. So another quote from David, its face was devoid of features save for large round eyes, very reminiscent in shape and color of a bird's eyes. It had no nose to speak of and only a small slit for a mouth. David watched in terror as the 5 creatures, now there's 5, communicated in a throaty chirp and then disappeared into the darkness of the woods. So, let's see what time it is. So 10:30. I timed this just about right. So now there's something else that happens here that gets quite a bit stranger. This story takes a really peculiar turn. I think I'm going to split this video up into 2 parts because I kind of assume that since I had so many pages written here that would probably take like an hour or 2 to get through this, and I was pretty close. I'm going to do the sequel to this next week and talk about, I don't want to give too much away. So basically, this David person who contacted these ghost hunters, remember how I said that he had really not told anybody about this? He wasn't even telling his wife at some point, like about this last experience that happened. He didn't tell her about that. She had a very limited knowledge because I guess he didn't want to scare his family to death and worry them to death. And he also was very paranoid about what people would think if he just started telling what was happening. So he had one close friend that he was confiding in. This one close friend just so happened to know somebody who they believe could help. This person, this third party, was an ex-military occultist. And we're going to leave it at that. Just for suspense, for a cliffhanger. He was an ex-military occultist. Now, I managed to download one of his books today. I'm going to read it this week. I have so many books that I'm reading right now. I'm never going to get to finish any of them. But I'm going to do some more research on this because this gets a little spooky. This is something that I had never thought about in all of my time of like devising theories. I had never thought, what if CIA agents, the NSA, what if all these like astronaut type, high-level military people are dabbling in the occult? What if they're dabbling in the occult and summoning demons? I never thought about it before. It's like duh, they would have to be. What do you think?
I don't know. Why would they?
Why wouldn't they?
I guess there's just as many reasons too as not.
So now the ghost hunters, I will say this. The ghost hunters, I think David at one point told them that this person, this ex-military occultist, knew them. And that's why he contacted them in the beginning. So the name that David gave them was not a real name. But we're going to get into those details next week. It is so creepy. It's so, I mean, it's crazy. It is crazy. And I want to do some more digging about it because I think this could be like a whole awesome episode all by itself. So, let's see if there's any loose ends I wanted to tie up. No, I don't think there is. I do have a couple of pictures. I'll probably show you these again next week because they kind of go along with that part of the story. So let's do one more screen share. Try to anyway. Guys, let me know if it's working. Okay, so this is the footprint. How does that look? Oh, it looks really small. Okay. Let's zoom in. Who forted? Who forted? Okay, so this is the footprint. As you can see, it's like 3 toes, no heel. What do you think about that, Matt?
It's interesting.
I will post on the Facebook page some other shots of this footprint because there's a few that he took where he actually put a ruler beside the footprint so you can kind of have something to base it on, like to see how big it is. It's not huge.
Well, it looks fairly small.
Yeah, it's not super small, but it's not enormous. It's about, mid-size, close to a human size foot. If we only had 3 toes and no heel. So, and I'm going to go ahead and show you a picture that David allegedly captured. Now, first I'm going to show you a drawing. This is like, the picture that they got is not very good. Actually, whoops, I think I don't even have that picture right now. Crap. They basically got a picture that kind of looks like an alien doing this in this little drawing, this illustration. I'll post that picture on the Facebook page if you want to see it. It's a really bad picture. You can't, I don't think you can really tell. But it kind of looks like if you see this and then you look at that, you're like, yeah, okay, I guess I can tell what's going on there. Here's one more picture, and this is supposed to be, they say, a side view of one of the creatures. So you can make your own, form your own opinion on that. I don't really know what I think of that. I think, pareidolia definitely exists. And I think if ever there was a time for pareidolia, it's probably right now looking at this picture. Because really, if I try to like block out the idea that this is supposed to be a profile view of an alien, and I try to see it like the way you would look at an optical illusion, I can kind of see a pixelated picture of the moon with some trees around it. Yeah. And I can also kind of see like maybe just a crappy close-up shot of a light, a reflection. I mean, I can see a lot of things here. I definitely see the profile alien that they say is in this picture. I just don't know if I believe that's really what it is. There was no zoomed out version of this that I could find. So I don't know. Form your own opinion. What do you guys think about this picture? I have to wait for the delay. I hate the delay. So let me know what you all think about this. If you think that it, you know, if you can see the alien, if you think it really is an alien. What do you guys think about this picture? Excuse me. In the meantime, I might be able to grab that other picture. Okay. Yeah, I thought I had actually already saved this picture. I guess I didn't. Oh, here it is. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to drag that picture. This is the other picture that I was talking about. Hey, Dimples. How are you today? We're talking about aliens tonight. So, okay, this is the other picture. This is the one that goes along with this drawing. This drawing kind of illustrates what they believe you're seeing in this picture. Yeah, absolutely agree, Christy. Yes, Dimples, totally agree. It's just, you know, it could be anything. It could be a hoax. It definitely looks like a pretty good picture. It could be real. It could be a hoax. Who knows? That is good to hear, Dimples. I'm glad you're doing good. Glad you got to stop in tonight. This one, I just keep looking at this one, and I just don't know. I just don't know.
It seems like I gotta put that big banner in front of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a necessary evil. They don't want anybody to take their picture.
Yeah.
I've done that before too. It does suck, but necessary evil.
A little bit.
So, okay. All right. Well, we'll go back one more time to the foot. I really like the foot picture. It's clear. It's not pixelated. It's like, it's just a standard picture. You can definitely see what's going on here. I am not someone who knows a whole lot about footprints. I have a friend who's really into Bigfoot and cryptozoology, and he's really good at just looking at pictures like this and, you know, giving you a whole bunch of ideas of what's going on in the picture. I am not. One thing I think is kind of weird about this is that you can see kind of a swirl, and I don't know if this is maybe an optical illusion because of the quality of the picture. I don't know. But I think it's really weird that there's kind of a swirl right there. And then if you look around the corner, you can kind of see some cracks or some little indentations. Kind of like if you look at your hand and you have all those lines, like the lines that the palm readers read, you kind of see, you know, maybe there was like texture to the foot or whatever this is. Now, one thing that makes me think this picture is bogus, though, is this big long toe thing right here. It kind of looks like a finger to me. These two look okay, but the big long one's a little peculiar. So I don't know. You be the judge. So that is it. I know, Dimples. That's an age-old debate. It's like, I mentioned it earlier. When you see Bigfoot, what do? You take a picture of him with a potato. Why use a camera when you can use a potato? So, and it always happens like that. Now, I've had lots of instances where I've seen something and not been able to get a picture, but that was back in the days before cell phones. And I think now, you almost everybody has a cell phone on them at any given time. And I think there's not a whole lot of reason anymore why people shouldn't be able to capture things. If you got your cell phone with you, most cell phones do camera, photo and video. So I don't know. This did happen several years ago, 2011, 2012. So I guess cell phones weren't as popular back then. I'm sure he probably had one anyway, but so this is the first part of the story. The second part of the story, like I said, will be up next week. We'll do that next Monday. I think it's going to be really crazy because what I found so far about this guy is really peculiar and creepy. So
I want to know now.
You want to know now? I want to tell you right now, but it would take me like a whole nother hour. So So any questions, any crazy things? Have you guys had any weird paranormal experiences lately? Yes, Dimples, I agree. It kind of looks like a monkey. Now this whole case, I know you just tuned in a minute ago. This whole case happened in Pikeville, Kentucky. Well, they say Pike County in the research I did, but it's Pikeville because there's not really any other big town in Pike County besides Pikeville. So I'm assuming that that's probably where it happened at, more than likely. So definitely no monkeys in Pikeville or Pike County. Not supposed to be anyway. What do you think? Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a scary story.
It seems to be pretty true to me. It doesn't seem too far-fetched.
Yeah, it has a lot of elements to it that are, I feel like, more realistic than a lot of UFO reports and alien incident reports. Now, back in the 90s, my mom had several other experiences with little short alien type creatures. Maybe that's another story for another time because I'd probably have to get her to retell it to me. But so that's it. What do you guys think? I hate that delay. I feel like we can't really talk in real time because of the delay. I probably should have. I should have got pictures. Let me see if I've got. I'm trying to find some pictures of the books that this guy wrote. I don't know. I'd probably have to hunt for them. Dimples, I'm not familiar with that. I don't think. Are you?
No.
Cinder? That is so weird, Matt. Read that.
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday.
Tell them loudly.
Yeah, the whole theory on that, like, we were thinking about, topics for stuff to talk about. And I thought, how the stereotypical movie stuff is where, ghosts and aliens and whatever, like the lights flashing on and off and TVs going scrambled and, electronics and stuff being affected by ghosts and aliens.
Yeah, so it's really weird that you mentioned that, Cinder, because we were just talking about that. So it's really weird. Yeah. I feel like there's cat hair down in here. I want to wolf a hairball.
Cat hair and everything.
I definitely know of some cases where UFO activity also affected electronic things and caused interference and stuff, which is just one of the other reasons that I think UFOs, aliens, and paranormal activity is all one and the same, just in different levels. Oh, and another development that happened here recently, the girl that I made the video about, the one who claims that she has psychic alien powers, that she can communicate psychically and travel, astral project to alien planets. I guess she saw one of my video that I made about her because she had come over to my Instagram and left a few little alien emojis. So, hey girl, I still don't believe you. No offense, I just don't. We haven't been able to prove psychics can read humans. Like humans can't read other humans. I mean, maybe psychics are psychic. Maybe I'm just too skeptical of psychics. But so far, we don't have any proof that humans can be psychic with other humans, much less with aliens. That's all I'm saying. I'm just keeping it real. Just my opinion.
Do a screen share of your journey. We'll believe it.
A screen share of your journey. Blog it, girl. A three-toed monkey-footed alien. I'll have to look that up. Write that down.
Three-toed monkey-footed alien.
Write that down. Write it down, slave. No, I'm just kidding. Secretary. Oh, yeah. Okay. I was thinking, you're talking about boa snakes. I was thinking, is that a cryptid that I haven't heard of? Like, they have the same name as snakes or something? I don't know. So, I guess that's it for tonight, y'all. YouTubey. Don't forget, in case you didn't see it or whatever earlier, at the beginning of the live stream, I have the first ever Paranormally Correct t-shirt is available. Right now, it is available through Wednesday, I think. Available until tomorrow. So there's one day left on this campaign. You can get your very own Paranormally Correct t-shirt and show your support for Paranormally Correct. The design is 100% original. I created the design myself. I call it Blue Girl Listens to the Sounds of Space. I don't know. I'm not real good with titles. That's the best I could do. So this print should actually come out really good. I have seen some examples of Teespring's quality, and it's really good. So it should look really nice. And there will be some more t-shirts. I'm probably going to do, I would say that the next t-shirt I do will be Reptilians Are Friends. Also, going back to the girl, the psychic alien girl, reptilians are friends because she and many other people believe that aliens are good and have good intentions for humans. I do not believe that at all. So that's reptilians are friends. So Dimples, I will actually, let's see, I can't type it in. The shirt, I believe, is $21.99. And that is their price, not mine. I thought it was going to be around $15 or $16. It's not. Go to, do you still check out the Facebook page at all? Because the link is on the Facebook page. But it's just Teespring. I wish I could type it in, but it won't actually let me type in the box because I'm on an account that I don't have a YouTube channel attached to. So I can't type the link. Okay.
I'll type it.
Yeah, here. Let me do it. Okay, so I'm going to type it from Matt's account, I think, if it'll work. Teespring.com/ what is it? PC. I forgot. PC Soul Planet. Make sure I type that right. No typos and stuff. So you should be able to, I think, click that link. He's going to post it in the chat room. There you go. Yeah. So, and also the link is on my Twitter, Instagram, and my Facebook page as well. So, but it's really simple to get to. It's an easy URL. So, but yeah, it's a really cool shirt. I worked really hard on that design. I was talking about it earlier. I made this design in 2013 for an astrologer. She didn't want it, so I was like, yippee, I get to keep it. But I've been waiting impatiently for something that I could use this design on because I thought it was such a cool design. So I guess that's it for this week, guys and gals, ghosts and ghouls. I'm going to hopefully have a couple of videos up this week, I think. I'm going to start talking about psychics. We're going to go from aliens to psychics soon. So lots of unexplored territory with psychics because I want to believe in psychics. I really do. And I think there's some really interesting, fascinating stuff out there. I just don't know how much of it I believe because, you know,
God, you stink, cat.
We have a smelly cat.
Let go.
I don't know why you have to battle the cats every time I get ready to get off here. You're welcome, Dimples. I'm glad you like it. I hope if you do choose to buy one of those, I hope you really like it. And you guys, anybody who gets one, hopefully if you want to, you can maybe send me a picture once you get it so that I know what it looks like. I am certain that their quality is really, really good. It's a lot better than Cafe Press. I did a lot of research and supposedly this is like the best side. So the quality should be awesome. I hope. Hopefully not with my bad luck, it'll come out like sideways or something. I hope not. I hope not. But anyway, I guess I'll let you guys go. Hope you have a great week. Look out for those new psychic videos. And if you haven't seen them already, I do have a couple of new story videos up. The time I saw a doppelganger and, the ghost in Idaho, the animal ghost.
Yeah.
So if you guys haven't seen that, definitely check those out.
Very creepy story.
And subscribe. What is it? Subscribe, YouTube. Subscribe, YouTube. So I hope you guys have an awesome week. I'll see you later. Where's the song? Can you do it? All right, guys. Bye.